Thanks for having me.
We're glad to have you, and today we're going to be talking about balance. And what we mean by balance is, so my question is, what is the key thing you do to balance school, work, life, and athletics? And in your case, work, you do volunteering.
Okay. Does there have to be like one thing?
It doesn't have to, I said key thing, but really anything that relates, anything you think that helps.
What do I do? Okay. Oh, is that your question? Do I answer that now?
Yep.
Okay. For me, basically, I just kind of like know the importance of like different things in my life. So like school obviously for me comes first. So I know that like before track, before like my work, then I need to get my schoolwork done before I like hang with my friends. So I always like have my schoolwork done no matter what because I've put that like as a thing of importance in my life. And then after that for me comes like my activities like track and stuff. So like after I get my schoolwork done, I'll make sure I've done like, anything I need to do for track, like whether that be like eating right, having my mental health be good or anything like that. And then after that comes like my work activities and then like spending time with friends. So I just kind of like order activities in like levels of importance and then that's how I keep organized and balanced.
How do you keep your priorities straight?
Like how do I choose
Yeah, and how do you stick by it? Like once you set it, like how do you make sure that you like keep that in line and
okay.
Don't shift?
Well, I think it's important to have like people in your life who also like know your priorities. So like my parents are big pushers of that too. So they've encouraged like my schoolwork to come first and they know that it does for me. So like before I like ask to go anywhere, they're gonna like ask me, do you have your schoolwork done? Kind of just like I have people in my life that hold me accountable for like having my work done and then like going to work / volunteering and like my mom like holds me accountable for doing my track exercises and like stretching every day and eating like a healthy diet. So they help me a lot with that.
And I think that's an important thing to talk about for the team aspect of track because your teammates can either bring you up or pull you down. So how would you say, like, let's say a teammate doesn't have their priorities straight. How do you like keep them accountable? Like, because there's probably going to be pushback. So how do you like go beyond that and like help them?
I can just like first and foremost, I can just try to be a good example for others, and I can like if I see like teammates going down not a wrong path, but like a path that wouldn't necessarily be like beneficial for like track or student life. Like the best thing I can do is like set a good example one and then like encourage them. But beyond that, like I don't know. I guess there's not like much I can do to make them like do their schoolwork or make them like stay focused on track and make good decisions outside of track.
Mm-hmm.
But I will always encourage my teammates to make the best decisions they can.
Is there anything that makes it easier to make good decisions other than accountability?
This is kind of similar to accountability, but like surrounding yourself with people that also make good decisions. That way it's just like easier to make good decisions overall because no one around you is making bad decisions per se. Like it's less of an option to make bad decisions when you have to like actively seek out making bad decisions versus like surrounding yourself with people who already are making those decisions. But
okay, and then kind of, I guess, not breaking that balance, but kind of making it more unbalanced. Last year you suffered through an injury, so can you talk a little about what that was and like how that changed your perspective, if it did at all?
Yeah. So like what my injury was?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically I had a stress fracture in my back, in my like spine, my vertebrae, and I don't know, it made it like really painful to run and put a lot of like extra stress on my life because I had to like put in a lot more like time and work to running, which meant like a lot less time, with friends and stuff. So, I mean, wait, what was the question?
How did it change your perspective on like running and balance?
I mean, for me, honestly, it kind of like solidified like where I wanted like running in my athletics to be on my list of like importance because like once I got injured, I kind of knew like, okay, like I'm gonna have to put like a lot of work into running to like make this season happen. And so like I had two choices. I could like basically stop running because that's what like my doctors and parents encouraged me to do last season, or like put in a lot of extra effort, like a lot of like time through like physical therapy, like doing a bunch of exercises to get better, like in like a few extra hours a day of like putting the work into track to like run last season. And so I kind of had to choose, and I like chose to like make track more important than like spending more time with like my friends. So it helped me like know for sure that track was like important to me and like something I wanted to put a lot of effort and work into.
Okay. And what did you do to like bounce back from recovery and to like make it or to mitigate that risk in the future, to like make it less likely to happen?
So I did like a lot of physical therapy for a long time, but also I'd become like really informed on like myself and like what type of like lifting I can do, what type of like running and like exercising I can do. So I just had to put in like a lot of work staying informed on and updated on like the do's and don'ts of like my training personally.
Okay. And then, yeah, that was basically exactly what Cheyenne was saying. She said, like, get educated on your body, and that, yeah, it's gonna be personal. So, yeah, you should just like use the internet to your advantage and look up like if something's ailing you, like look up that muscle set. What stretches can you do? Like what extra things can you do outside of just running?
Yeah.
To help that. But during your injury, I think that shows a counterexample to your like surrounding yourself with people who are going to bring you up. So not that your parents or your doctor were bringing you down, but they were like telling you to not run. So in that instance where you like know something's right, but other people are like, or people with like a lot of credibility and like high esteem are bringing you down, what do you think? Like the way you still went for it and still like put in a bunch of work, even though you knew you were gonna get some pushback from people pretty close to you.
Wait, what?
So like, how do you rise above people, like people's perspectives that you know just aren't right for you? Like you knew you wanted to run, that's what you wanted to do, so you still pursued it despite like pushback.
Yeah, I don't know. It took like a lot of convincing for my parents to like let me run, but I just feel like I don't know really. I just had to like really convince like my parents and my doctor that this was really something I wanted to do. So like once I decided that like running was really important to me, I was like, that was something else. Like I had to put a lot of like time into like I had to like convince my parents that like I had a plan, that I was informed on like my injury and like what I could actually do like at practice, and I had to like convince them that I would try to like live my healthiest life, and I had to convince them that I would stay healthy, which then I had to like put a lot of work into doing because obviously your health comes before running, but yeah.
And on prior episodes, we talked about mostly like physical health, like yeah, you have to stretch, ice baths are good, nutrition, sleep, hydration, all of that. But something we haven't really covered is mental health. So, how do you think mental health like relates to mental performance, and how do you keep like healthy or good mental health?
I think mental health relates a lot to mental performance because last year I can say for certain that like my mental health wasn't as good. Like with my injury, I didn't focus as much on my mental health. I focused more on like my physical health. But this year, like being healthy, I started like focusing more on my mental health. Like I started running because like I wanted to run, and I started like getting in different mindsets for my races, and that's like definitely shown an improvement in times. But also I've just been like happier running since I didn't focus a lot on like finding joy in running last year, just like being able to run. So I think mental health plays like a big part in like your your like actual ability, and like it shows up a lot in results. What was the second part of that question?
Like, how do you keep good mental health? What are like practices you do?
To keep good mental health, well, I think like good mental health for me starts with good physical health. So like last year, like when I was injured, obviously like I was focusing a lot on my physical health, so I didn't focus as much on my mental health. But like now that I'm healthy, like getting enough sleep so you're not like tired all the time, eating healthy so you feel like your body feels good already. But then also like just for me specifically, like I journal and I keep up with my faith, so that helps my mental health, like a lot of like, what is that called? Introspection, self-reflection, I don't know. Yeah, that helps. And I also like just this year started to find like just like talking to myself and reflecting on like how I feel like during races and competition. Like last year I felt a lot of like stress and anxiety around competition. So this year I've tried to make that like a better space for me, like having more fun and finding more like joy in running, which it's not like all fun, but I think just like, you know, like going to a meet and like having a smile on my face and like being happy around other people instead of just like being in my own head with my headphones in, like not talking to anyone like I did last year. Like I just think that like mindset and how I like project myself to other people is a lot of how I keep my mental health good.
What do you enjoy most about running?
Like running itself or like anything involving like track.
Could just be track as a sport.
Well, I really enjoy track because there's like so many kids on the team. It gives me an opportunity to meet like so many new girls and make like a lot of new friends. So I've been like hanging out with like a ton of different people this season already, and it's really fun. That's more like the team like aspect though. About running, what do you enjoy most about track? Have you ever been asked a question?
Very small questions, not like this, but I would say, since you said the people aspect, on the running, like it's an opportunity to really like push yourself mentally and physically, and that's just like getting that, like being able to push beyond what your perceived limits are is going to help you in other aspects in life. Because I'm not planning on running in college, so this is probably my last season of like competitive racing, but I'm not just gonna like throw away the lessons I've learned like after I get out. But so I think it teaches you like basically just mental toughness.
Yeah. Okay. My answer then to that is kind of along the lines of yours, but I was gonna say I like most about running that it like pushes me out of my comfort zone. Like I'm a person who tries to like who tries to avoid like stressful situations, like things that bring me like anxiety. And like running, you know, like when you're on the line, like you're nervous, like you're uncomfortable, you know, like, so I like that it like pushes me out of my comfort zone. And like I think that also, like you said, like relates to like other areas of my life. Like I'm not running in college either, but I think I'll like take that lesson and be able to like be confident, like when, you know, like doing things I don't want to do, like public speaking or like anything like that.
So, kind of going back to some of your mental health practices, what is the like format of your journaling? Because there are a lot of ways you can do it. Even our Coach H even has a template in that Amp Up Google Classroom if you want to go check that. But yeah, like what's your like template for doing that?
So I just do it after like the end of every day, so I can like reflect on my day and how it's been. But I mean, I kind of like learned a lot of like how I journal from Coach H, I guess, because I used to journal with him in cross country. But I try to just like reflect on like one good thing from my day, and then like since I specifically journal like for running, then like one positive that happened at track, and then I will write like one thing that I want to try to work on, and then like just for myself, like I don't know, maybe being more positive if I like felt like I had like a negative attitude that day, and then like also something I want to work on for involving track. So that's like the main points I do, and then I just also like write, you know, anything else that comes to mind or that I want to remember from the day.
Okay. And something else you mentioned, like why you enjoy running, the people aspect, the team aspect. So I think we covered the importance of team bonding already in a prior episode, but what would you say is the one or two like key points that are holding like team bonding back?
So like what we can do to make team bonding better? Ooh. I don't know, I like team bonding.
Yeah.
I think we could definitely like make more of a push to get like younger girls out there, because a lot of times like team bonding is held by an upperclassman, which is probably how it's always going to be, because like the underclassmen probably don't want to have, you know, 50 girls over to their house, or I don't know, like girls that they don't know over to their house. But yeah, definitely like a push to get more underclassmen there, because a lot of times team bonding is a lot of like upperclassmen or girls who already know each other, which obviously the point of team bonding is to like get to know the team and not just like stay in the same cliques. So there's that.
So that's another example of comfort zone outside of running. So you like settle into the comfort zone of, hey, these are people I know, these are people I like hang out with all the time. Or you can like kind of take it upon yourself to like communicate with someone that you don't know, and that will only like strengthen your team, because it is like other teams can tell like how well your team is bonded, like how like unified they are, like as soon as you walk onto the track.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly really enjoy team bonding. I think there's obviously like improvements, but I think I don't think I've been to like a bad team bonding yet.
So you've been doing track for 4 years, you're a senior now. Is there any advice you give, like specifically on team bonding to, say, a junior going into their senior year next year that is going to have a lot of that like put upon their shoulders, like planning and organizing the events and whatnot?
Honestly, like just try to have fun with it. Like I know like being like a senior who has to like organize things can be like stressful on top of that, like you're already like school, track, work life, but you know, like team bonding isn't the end all be all. Just try to have fun with it, do activities that you would enjoy. Don't worry about like pleasing like everybody, because obviously like on a team with so many people, not everybody's always gonna get their way, but yeah. mainly just have fun with it.
And as a sprinter, what would you say, like, your unique perspective is that would differ from, say, a thrower or a distance person or like a field event?
Ooh, or like long distance even.
Yeah.
Maybe just like, I don't know. How in my perspective?
Well, do you see any like contrast? Because you ran cross country for a few years, so do you see any like difference in mindset between a distance runner and a like a sprinter, for example?
I mean, just from my personal experience, like distance running, I feel like I had to be like a lot mentally tougher because just for me, like personally, that was like a lot more like grueling on my body, you know, it was a lot more of like a mental game, like I didn't want to keep running, but like I was going to, you know. Whereas like sprinting, it's like short enough where like you know, if I have like a song in my head, like I'll be done running by the end of the song. That's how I run. But so there's like definitely a difference in mindset. I wouldn't say it's like easier to be a sprinter because I think like one little like mistake or you know if you're not in a good place mentally can like affect your running like a lot because you know you can like messing up in 100 is it like there's no recovery, but like messing up in a mile like you can recover from that, I feel like more. But I feel like you have to be like more mentally tough during the race for like long distance and then more mentally tough like outside of the race for sprints is how it's been for me.
Okay. And then what do you do to like focus up and like turn it on a like on race day?
Well, okay. On race day, I always start with like in the morning listening to like this playlist I made of my favorite songs that like get me hype and get me excited. So like I'm starting the day with like, you know, a happy mindset, like I want to run, like I'm excited to be running that day because again that's like something I've struggled with a little in the past, you know, being excited to run, you know. So I always start with that. I try to eat well on race days. Well, I try to eat good every day, but I feel like I'm a little more in tune with that on race days. And then I just try to show up with like a positive attitude to meets just so that like the environment is like lighter. Like I don't want to be the one like dragging people down on race days, you know. I want to contribute to like pulling people to like the good side of the bell curve.
How do you stay positive?
Like during race days?
Mm-hmm. Or just in general too?
Ooh. During race days now, I just have to remind myself that like I'm gonna work my hardest, but like no matter the result, like at the end of the day, like I still like who I am as a person, you know. I like races hold importance to me, but I just have to like always remind myself that they're not the most important thing. Like it's not the end of the world if I don't perform as well as I'd like to. And then outside of races, staying positive. I don't know. Like, how do you stay positive?
I guess just thinking about like the bigger picture, not getting caught up in small mistakes, because even if like in a worst case scenario, not that I've like experienced anything like this, but even if I like there's a setback that sets me back, even an entire year, that's really not that large in the grand scale of things. It's like I'm gonna live longer than just a year, so
Hopefully.
But yeah, just keeping the bigger picture in mind.
Okay, that's a good one. I guess like staying positive outside of meets is kind of like staying positive. It's just like on a bigger scale, I guess. Like, you know, the small things that like set you back in life are difficult. Like, it's not the end of the world again. Bigger picture, like you said.
And finally, as a senior, someone who's been with the program for 4 years, what is the one piece of advice you give to anyone like coming into the program or who's been there that you think they should know?
My one piece of advice is try to find joy in running and in track, because well, one, it's a lot more fun, and two, when like you have a good mindset about running and you actually like it, like you do better.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, and make it a great day.
Yep. Make it a great day. Will that be really loud?
Thank you for tuning in to Amp Up Season 2. Credits go to Casey Kruger for making the amazing animated intro, Coach H, of course, for creating Season 1 and letting us to carry it on and make it our own with the Season 2. Thank you to Isaac Hazelhorse and Dakota Miser for doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work. We have the video version on YouTube as well as podcast version on Apple Podcasts and Spotify for if you want audio only, so you can listen whenever and wherever you want. Also, big thank you to all the guests we have. Really appreciate all of them coming out and speaking to help you guys, the athletes, and whoever else may be listening. So thank you, and stay hard.